Moses had just another day with the sheep in the desert, as we heard in the first reading, and his life was about to change suddenly. Moses was 80 years old and in early retirement. His people, the Hebrews, were dying in Egypt. And during their captivity, they experienced unbelievable oppression. And we are still determining what Moses was thinking about in the midst of all this. And we don't even know if it was a concern to him. But what we do know is that it was a concern to God, that his people were in oppression in Egypt. In Moses' eyes, he was a backslidden sinner, a murderer, a fugitive with failures, with a past, and with a skeleton in his closet. You may have fled from situations in your life, but don't think you are finished as a leader. God has a way of retooling and rebooting. Every now and then, we hear about an 80-year-old person starting a new career or a new life. When most of us, when we reach 80, we are coming down the home stretch, rounding the final turn, collecting your social security. And yes, if you are in good health, you are learning to play pickleball. Well, many people never reach 80, whether it's cancer, stroke, heart attack, COVID, a fall, an accident, or you just lie down for a nap and you don't wake up. Still, Moses is 80 and he is getting his marching orders from God at the age of 80. Moreover, he's going to live another 40 years. And most of what we remember him for happened those 40 years of his last 40 years, from 80 to 120 years. When most people are slowing down, Moses is moving into overdrive. A burning bush, that's what it changed him, and it changed the history of the world 3,500 years ago. It all began in an ordinary day, as he had done for every day for last 40 years. And Moses meets God on an ordinary day. It's not like he woke up and said, no, my whole life, it's not like he woke up today and he said, my whole life is about to change. No. At 80, he had every reason to think nothing would change. Just that, he doesn't know that God is about to speak to him. It leads us to a very crucial insight. 99% of our life is just ordinary. It's the same old stuff day after day. We get up in the morning, take a shower, put your clothes on, eat breakfast, get the kids ready for school, go to work, come home, read newspaper, watch some TV, eat supper, play with your kids or grandkids, flop into bed, dead tired, and then get up in the morning, following day, and do it all over again. A bush in the desert. It's not unusual. A burning bush in the desert is not unusual either. But what is extraordinary is that the bush burned, but was not consumed. That's what got Moses' attention. Would we walk over to look closer if we saw the same thing? God can make any bush burn anytime he likes. God can make any bush burn and not be consumed. It reminds us that God can make the ordinary into something extraordinary. God can use us in our everyday lives, even when we aren't doing anything great or extraordinary. Moses' story reminds us that God can speak to us on ordinary days and ordinary ways. We don't need significant, dramatic encounters to hear God's voice. Every day, things are sometimes, God's way of speaking to us. Remember Moses, when you feel discouraged or like you are not doing enough for God. Remember that God can use you in your everyday life and speak to you through the very ordinary things in life. I also like the quote from Elizabeth Elliot. She says, "Do the next thing. There is always a next thing that needs to be done." This is an excellent reminder that we don't need to have everything figured out or to be used by God. We just need to do the next thing that God puts before us.